Now, South Africa is joining many countries around the world, easing COVID-19 regulations. Schools return to full-time learning from next Monday. People no longer have to isolate if they have symptom-free COVID. The isolation period for people with symptoms has also decreased from 10 to 7 days. Is this the beginning of the end of COVID? Well, let's speak now to Dr. Nicholas Crisp, Deputy Director General of the Health Department. Dr. Crisp, thank you so much for joining us this evening. So we just got the latest numbers in, 3,266 recorded new infections in the past 24-hour period. We know that we're through the fourth wave, but we've also seen a very slight uptick in the numbers. Is this due to the sub-variant BA2 of Omicron, which has been detected?
Good evening, Sally, and good evening to the viewers. We don't think so. I was in a presentation yesterday where they were taking us through all the results of what's been collected. There appears to be an uptick, as you say, but that's probably more related to behavior. If we've gone back to school, people are going back to varsity, people have let their hair down a bit with parties, it's the start of the year. So we are probably seeing a behavioral uptick, but we need to watch it. The subvariant is apparently behaving very similarly to the Omicron variant. So there's not really at this stage a reason to believe that's what's driving this slight uptick. But we do need to watch it.
All right. So I was going to ask you if it's safe to say that the worst is over and whether we can breathe a sigh of relief, albeit still behind our masks. What do you think?
Well, I would be the happiest person because I'd like to get back to what I should be doing. But I think that at this stage, we're erring on the side of caution. We do believe that the predicted trend is that we will move out of, worst infections, but there will be another wave. As sure as winter's coming, there'll be another wave. If we are fortunate enough to get one of the variants we've already had, or just a marginally different mutation from what we've had, then I think we can expect to have a sort of flu-like symptoms in winter. But that's not what COVID's been doing to us, so we need to be on our high alert. We might be getting a completely different variant, in which case it's impossible to predict how it will behave. So I think at this stage, our message would be to be cautious, to continue with as much social distancing and particularly ventilation as possible. But most important, get vaccinated, because we know that prevents severe infection.
Where are we on the national figures on vaccination?
Yesterday, we crossed 30 million doses administered, which is about a month and a half behind where we would have liked to be. So it is still ticking over slowly. We are seeing far too few vaccinations per day, between about 80 and 90,000 on a good day. And we should be seeing at least double that number of people coming for vaccinations. There are pockets where the coverage is very good, above 75% of people over the age of 60 in some rural areas of Limpopo, which is our best performing areas. But generally above 60s is well vaccinated. Above 50s doing not too bad. But younger populations are very large and getting to reasonable coverage, about 40-45%, is proving difficult. So we would like to encourage, especially young people. We know that their lives are getting on and they're trying to be engaging with, whatever they can in the economy as it is at the moment. But your opportunities for employment and for travel and for everything else are far better if you are vaccinated. So we'd really like to encourage everybody to come for vaccination.
Is scrapping wearing of masks being discussed at all? Is there any sense of when we might be able to say we don't need to wear masks?
Yeah, it's discussed in every meeting that I attend. So there are pros and cons, and there are those who are erring on the side of caution and those who are saying it doesn't make a difference. And then there's the middle ground where there are proponents who are saying, well, as long as you're wearing an N95 mask in at-risk environments, that's probably what we should be covering. So I think at this stage, we have not got to a decision on what to do about masks. We know that Asian countries have been wearing masks for a very long time, not compulsory, and we may head in that direction in the future. But for now, although it's being discussed, we don't have a decision.
All right. Thank you so much for chatting to us this evening. That was Dr. Nicholas Crisp. He's the Department of Health Deputy Director General, telling us that at this point, the subvariant, nothing to worry about.